ambassador program there is to complement what we call our lead generation, trying to bring business in and trying to identify ambassadors. And the program itself is quite simply, it's a fund in place, and then there's actually a promotional plan behind it. So the fund, we have 550,000 allocated this year, and that's actually to help anybody out there that can influence their international colleagues to come to Ireland. There is a fund there to assist you. And the fund could help you, for example, Greg, if you need to go overseas and you want to bid for that conference, we can financially support you. Say you needed to bring those decision makers to show them a few of our fantastic venues here, we can actually support you with that too. And then once you actually win this conference, which is what we're all hoping for, we can increase your delegate numbers by marketing and giving you support there. Now that's, I suppose, the financial side, but there's like great practical supports. We have bid documents, sample bid documents, conference bags. It's the little things that help, the shamrock pins. When you go overseas, I suppose you mightn't have an Ireland DVD and how to showcase Ireland. That's all in place for you. And we've a full section on the website currently for ambassadors, and all these tools and all these supports are there for you. What we have as well is, because I suppose what we didn't do last year was, there's an awful lot of people out there that don't realise they are conference ambassadors. And we really want to communicate this out through the press. So we've designed a promotional plan, very specific, to the likes of the medical journals, to the university sector, as we mentioned earlier. But, one of our ambassadors, last year we identified 122, or should I say, we supported 122 conferences. And those conferences were worth 80 million. And one of those, just to give you an example, Frank Hession, we approached, he's the proprietor of Hession Hairdressing. And we approached Frank and we said, would you ever consider bringing the OMC competition to Ireland? And he said, absolutely, and he was delighted to become an ambassador. He's now bringing that here in 2012. We have supported him through the fund, and he's talking about bringing 10,000 international attendees, which is absolutely phenomenal to the Irish economy. And you're talking about an estimated economic impact of about 14 million. So you can just see, for every ambassador out there that we could identify and could assist, really the economic benefit is substantial. And what we've done this year is we've worked very closely with our Tourism Ireland colleagues. We've allocated 1.2 million to the Tourism Ireland budget because we wanted, obviously, specifically for business tourism. And what we're getting different, and the approach this year, is our Tourism Ireland colleagues have employed a UK researcher and a pan-European researcher. So what we were doing in Fáilte Ireland last year, we have 2 full-time researchers constantly identifying people in Ireland that could bring an international conference to Ireland. We call them conference ambassadors. What we've done now is replicated that out to the markets. So in the UK, we have a researcher who's employed full-time now, trying to find ambassadors for Ireland, and they will feed back into our process. So that's something new, and that's something we've moved on from. Last year, Fáilte Ireland, we actually contacted 430 individuals. And what we did was we spoke to these individuals through a lot of research to find out, would they consider bringing their specific international conference to Ireland. And 74 of those actually said, yes, we would, we're interested. So what we do then is we pass that information on to our Convention Bureau, which are the non-profit organisations. They're the sales aspect of we do the identification and development, and the Convention Bureau does the sales aspect. And 74 of those, if all of those conferences are won, you're talking about the value to the economy would be 80 million. So, this is so important, and this is why Fáilte Ireland has identified this as a prime importance in our plan this year, and why Tourism Ireland as well are going to complement the process going forward.
My name is Richard Porter. I work in a large inner city university, Trinity College Dublin. And apart from being a lecturer, my main driving force is actually research, and I have a big research lab and a team. And our particular area of research is bioenergetics. And there comes a time in every scientist's life where they have to host a large or a modest-sized conference. And I had organised many conferences up to the one I'm going to talk to you about. But this one was a major one because it's pure to the field I'm in. It contains all the top scientists. There's been 3 Nobel laureates born out of this research group, 2 of whom came to the conference. And my main goal was really to get the top scientists around the world to this conference here in Ireland, and also to get a lot of young scientists from around the world here to sort of promote the science to the younger visitors. So this was the 15th European Bioenergetics Conference. It's held every 2 years, so it's been going for 30 years, and there's a lot of scientists who've been to every conference in those 30 years. So, the particular thing about this conference was there was no backup. The European Bioenergetics Conference is actually not a registered charity or anything. It had no bank account. I had to start from scratch with a blank sheet of paper with no money. And this is where, in particular, the Fáilte Ireland Ambassador Research Ambassador Conference Fund was very helpful, because I had to put in the bid in 2004. I had to then sort of market the thing at the conference in 2006, with view to hosting in 2008. So the bid was put in Pisa in Italy, and I only had one rival at the time. He was a chap from Warsaw in Poland, and having got money from the conference scheme, the ambassador scheme, I was able to put in a good bid, and they gave me some advice on how to pitch it and what areas to cover. And as soon as I finished my pitch, the guy from Warsaw said, "That's it. I'm going to withdraw my bid. I really want to go to Ireland." So that was good. I thought that was a good start. You know, I blew away the competition. So then, again, thanks to the funds I got, this is the key thing about the Ambassador Fund, is they gave me money willingly and early. So thanks to the fund, I was able to then get some professionals on board to get the website going, to get good graphics for promotion material and marketing material. So when the conference in 2006 happened in in Moscow, I beg your pardon, I was just blasting everybody with things like bookmarks that I got made, this is an example of one, showing images of Ireland on it, the website address for the conference, etc. And then I was able to give a lecture, and again, thanks to Fáilte Ireland, I got some fantastic pictures of Ireland that I was able to use in the lecture. So I give Fáilte Ireland a gold star, as you see there, for their contribution. Because they came, as I said, I can't emphasize, they came in early and consistently. Over those 3-4 years, they gave me money each year. And that was just fantastic for me, particularly starting from scratch. I mean, these other bodies, like Science Foundation Ireland, these other, these biological societies, they gave me money, but they didn't want to give me money until just before the conference, when most of the things were in place. I mean, the money from Fáilte Ireland, as I said, helped me with the bid, it helped me with the marketing, it even, as it was, gave me money for the welcoming reception.
We'll also then, in terms of the corporate meeting area, we have a couple of new initiatives. We're trying to leverage what we've done in the conference ambassador sector, and we're going to create this corporate champion. So we have over 1,000 international companies that work here in Ireland. What we're really looking to do is identify some of those companies who have international corporate meetings, the Microsoft, the Intels, the Apples and so on of this world, and of course the pharmaceutical companies or the research companies also. And work with those and saying, well, have you brought one to Ireland before? Have you brought the European conference here? Have you brought the international conference here before? And we have a support fund and people identified there to do that.